Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Joni Young, and if you're new here, thanks so much for joining. I'm going to be showing you step by step today how I painted Mystic Lake using all these fun colors that I will list below in the description. I'm working on a 14 by 18 canvas board. I've got a 3-inch round chalk brush, and I'm blending neon yellow, neon pink, and neon red up in the sky. And I'm going to leave an area where it's just white for that bright sun. I'm going to come around with a little bit more neon pink around the edges, and I'm going to add a little bit of light blue violet and make it a little bit darker gradually, and you can see how beautifully this blue just pops against those neon colors. Now if you don't have light blue violet, you can make it by mixing cobalt blue with titanium white or any white. I'm just going to start tapping in some neon pink down here on the bottom, and then I'm going to pull and flick up and flick down for reflection in the water. And then I'm going to take some of my blue and I'm going to start tapping that in as well, pulling a little line for the land to separate the land from the water. And then I'm going to start tapping in a little bit more of my neon colors up here, some red. Switch over to a Filbert brush that has a nice round end to it, so I can add a little bit more detail where I need to and get in some of these clouds a little bit easier. Adding a little bit of white inside some of them, then a little bit of my light blue violet. So mixing neon colors with white will get you the prettiest pastel tones. So I'm going to continue to make little clouds inside these larger ones. This will help create some perspective. And notice how my clouds are kind of sweeping up and pulling off to the left corner and then towards the right corner. That makes for a really interesting sky and a mood in your painting. So I'm going to do this for a little bit, and then I'm going to work on the water. Alright, so I'm going to take a little bit of white, pink, and yellow, and I'm going to start pulling lines back and forth down in the water for some ripples and reflection and some highlights. Then I'm going to pull up a little bit of that neon yellow, a little bit of neon red even in there, and just layer over some of those treetops. I'm going to add a little bit more of the neon red in the water, and then come in with my phthalo blue for a line, a couple of lines right here, and we'll start adding our contrast and shadow and silhouette. Okay, mixing phthalo with a little bit of white, a little bit of turquoise, and then some yellow, a little bit of black and white. Be creative with your shadows for your clouds. Think outside of the box. Don't always think of just using black for a shadow. It's really a lot more interesting in a painting to use, different colors like sap green. You can mix sap green with some red. Here, like I just said, I'm using turquoise, blue, a little bit of yellow, and black and white. It just gets you more of a smoky tone to your clouds and your skies. Just black and white would be a little bit flat and boring. I'm going to add some shadows on either side, leaving the center the lightest. You can use any colors that you want for this. Any combination of these dark colors will work. And I'm going to take some turquoise, pull across on those lines, and then pull and flick down below a little bit, and then pull up a little bit. So little flicks with your brush can be really effective for creating instant trees in a forest. and then ripples in the water as well, and then just sliding your brush quickly side to side. Got some neon red here that I'm going to add and layer over top of some of these colors in the sky and around the sun. Now what you can do if your painting is still wet and you don't want all those colors to blend in and turn muddy is just wait for your painting to dry off first, or have a hair dryer. I like to have a hair dryer close by, and it makes it really quick and easy to do this. So I'm taking some sap green, yellow, a little bit of white, maybe a bit of turquoise, and I'm going to add some little lines down here and just create some little lily pads. Maybe add some water lilies. I'm just creating my own little world here, little fantasy landscape. And really this painting is me having some color and art therapy. I was just having a ball with my new paints. I recently got gifted a ton of new paints, including a lot of new neons. So thank you to my patron, Christy. I am having a lot of fun. I've been painting every day. Sometimes 2 to 3 paintings a day even. I'm just having a lot of fun here. So as you can see, I'm coming in with pastel yellow. I took neon yellow and white, and then I'm coming in with highlights here around the outside edges of the clouds. Then I pick up a little bit of neon red and use that as well. I'm pulling in some sun rays now gently, and then diagonally, and then I start to go around the bottom and making it straight down towards those trees, and then off to the side again. I want to darken up some of these clouds a little bit more. Now that might be too dark, so I think I need to come inside here and add some of my blue violet, my light blue violet, and if that's still too dark, then I'll come in with a little bit more later and possibly add some white. Now keep in mind with acrylic paint it dries darker, so you really do want to wait until your painting is completely dry to decide if you need to add a little bit more highlights or soften anything. So I'm just adding little dabs and pulls for some loose style impressionistic looking water lilies here. It's super easy. You can use a liner brush, you can use a small flat brush, round brush, any brush that you feel comfortable with that's small and you're able to create these little petals with. I'm using white, tinting it with a little bit of yellow, pink, neon red, and I'm going to make obviously the ones in the foreground closer to us larger, and then as they get further away to create that perspective way up by the horizon there, they're just going to be little dabs, little tiny dots that you can't see any, you really can't see any of those petals because it's so far away. And I'm going to come in with some more sun rays now and give this sky more of a glow and a softness to it. Then back to my fun neon colors, some red, some pink, adding that in the water. I'll be adding some of my cobalt blue as well. If you don't have cobalt blue, ultramarine blue is really similar. And yeah, this is just one of those paintings that you can go crazy with color with and have fun, enjoy yourself. I always make sure I'm having fun when I'm painting, because honestly life's too short to not be enjoying yourself. So remember that, guys. If you're not loving what you're painting, then you may need to take a break, come back to it after, or try to look at it from a different perspective. And if you really want to keep practicing to get good at something but you're really not enjoying yourself, sometimes I just put on some music, some relaxing spa type of music, or whatever it is, you know, take a break, have a cup of coffee, have a cup of tea. Try to get yourself into a different mindset. Maybe try using a different color to practice what you're painting on. Do whatever it is to try to enjoy yourself with whatever it is you're doing during the day. Now I added a little bit more blue up at the top there, as you can see. And that was my cobalt blue, and I'm coming in with a little bit of white to lighten that up, and I'm using a mop brush. And I'm pouring out some of my, it's like a copper color, copper marmalade I think it's called, which is really, really neat. And I'm kind of just dusting over a light little filter here to give it a smoky, warm look on the edges, kind of for a vignette. And then I'm going to tap in for some little bushes here. And I've got a large, really large Filbert brush, and it's kind of poofy on the end, so it's kind of like half of a, it's in between a Filbert brush and a mop brush. It's a really nice brush to use for creating foliage. And I'm taking a little bit of black with my copper liner brush, and I'm going to pull in some little branches, tree trunks. Alright, now I'm going to have some more fun with color, and I'm going to start tapping in some of my neon red with a smaller mop brush on the tops of those little trees and bushes, and then add in some neon yellow as well towards the center. After I do this, I'm going to go back to my liner brush, and I'm going to add some little details up in those clouds in the sky and kind of just play around creating little wiggles and highlights, little lines up here. I'm not sure if I'll leave it like this, but I always want to experiment with different textures, lines, and brush strokes until I get the feeling across that I want to in my paintings. So I'm going to go to my little Filbert brush now, or a flat brush I mean, and soften slightly, and then I'm going to add a little bit of my neon yellow, some neon pink, and I want to start adding some more to the foreground, maybe a silhouette. So I'm going to come in with a tree here and my long liner brush, some black, maybe mixed with another color. You could use blue, you could use black, pink, and blue. The copper marmalade would look nice, sap green. And I'm gonna be really dramatic with my branch at the top there. I want to have it really curving over around that sun. I think it looks kind of fun like that and whimsical. And when I'm wanting to create some smaller branches and I want my paint to flow softly and easily, I add a little bit of water to my brush. Now I've got my big old round stippling brush here, and I'm using, excuse me, I'm using some sap green for the base, maybe a little bit of black in there, but it's not necessary. And then I'm going to add a little bit of yellow and a little bit of white. I'm going to tap lightly, and then I'm going to pull gently and flick. Maybe making this into a weeping willow tree, or just having some moss dangling and hanging down, or vines. It's whatever you want it to be. You can make anything up when you're painting. That's what I love about art. I know I say that a lot, but some of you might be new to my channel, and this might be the first video of mine that you're seeing. So on my channel, I really like to try to inspire people to get out of their comfort zones, think outside of the box, not get intimidated by learning how to paint. I like to offer different approaches to painting, more intuitive. What I have been doing for the past 16 to 20 years of teaching, I like to not only teach you guys tips and tricks and techniques and brush strokes and color mixing, all of that, but I like to try and teach you guys how to use your imagination and to just express yourself, your authentic self, through color and texture on whatever it is that you want to paint on. I think it's really important once you learn some brush strokes and all those basics of painting that you know how to come up with something and not have to look at a reference photo all the time. So I've added some little sprays here for some stars. You can use an old toothbrush or just flick some water with white on a little brush and just pull and flick with your finger to create those. You can tap lightly with a little liner brush, and then I'm going to create little stars here, some more little wiggles, creating some more whimsy up here on the top left side, and a little crescent moon that I began with blue and white first, and then I came in with a little bit more white inside just to make it glow. I'm going to add some more sun rays in here now. Now you want to dry your painting off first before doing this. I don't always do because I am just too into my paintings and I really have a hard time stopping when I'm in my creative modes. So I often end up pulling some of my wet paint underneath, and sometimes it works and I leave it and it looks kind of dreamy and pretty, and other times I have to fix it. And I always leave that in the video and show you guys how to correct that if that happens to you. So I'm just adding a little bit of neon yellow to my white now. And I've got my dog Tilly barking in the backyard, so I'm going to let you guys finish watching this. Hopefully you're enjoying this, learning a lot, taking away something new today that you never knew before. If so, leave a comment below. Please subscribe to my channel and head over to Patreon and join our community that we have over there, where you can talk to me one-on-one, ask me for advice, and possibly request something that you want to see me paint. Have a wonderful day, you guys. Happy painting, and I'll see you next time. Bye!